My first impression about Bologna was when I arrived to the airport, and I remember until now my first feelings, because it was quite empty, very less tourists, because it was also not allowed. You could enter to Italy only with official agreements that you have to work here. But immediately the first pictures of Old Town Bologna, which I saw on the walls of airport, it was fascinated to see, wow, how beautiful historical city. And of course Bologna is very important city for the music history, because here worked all like most famous musicians from previous centuries, and Gluck and Rossini and Donizetti and Mozart and Wagner, and my favorite conductor Arturo Toscanini and Ottorino Respighi. So many very important names, and it was fascinating for me to hear Bologna Orchestra, because I had not my own opinion about the orchestra, and I have heard very different things about Italian orchestra, because we know that the mentality of different regions of Italy is very different, and I was very surprised to discover very great and high level of musicians in Bologna, and that here is a very special tradition also to play big German symphonic repertoire. And our concert was very successful, and it was great that after the concert immediately we felt together with musicians from the orchestra, we felt together like special connection, special interest to continue our collaboration. And only in few weeks I already received the invitation to come back for next symphonic concert, and after also the interest to fix our relationship with some official position. And it was shortly before my debut on Wagner Festival in Bayreuth, Richard Wagner Festspiele, where I should conduct for the first time of the 145 years history of this most famous festival in the world, where I should give my debut with Flying Dutchman. And so it was very excited period, because I had a lot of international interest. I was like in the hot spot of international music world. And to that time arrived also the invitation from Bologna to accept the title of direttore musicale del Teatro Comunale di Bologna. It was very great also honor for me. I was also very curious and excited, because, how I said, orchestra was very great, and from that time, from January 22, I started to work here in this position, and we have realized great plans. We have already had successful premieres, and also I'm looking forward for next seasons. But with this happy period in my life, artistic period, new start in Italy, and I was very surprised that I became the first female chief conductor in Italy. Also, unfortunately, arrived another very tragic news, because how we know, in February 22 started this terrible full-scale invasion in Ukraine from Russia, and it was another very tragic experience for me, because also on that day when the war started, I was on my way to Bologna, and when I arrived to Bologna, whole orchestra stand up and arrived. Also Sindaco Matteo Lepore, and also Sovrintendente Fulvio Macciardi. Everybody was there to express their shock about the situation. Everybody was worried also about my family, about my friends, how is the situation in my home. And it was terrible, because I should start the rehearsal at 10 o'clock, how usually, And I remember that the first minutes of rehearsal, maybe 15 minutes, nobody could play. We were just talking. I was crying. Many musicians were also touched and crying too. But after they asked me, the orchestra representative, what we should do now. Maybe you want to cancel this rehearsal because we understand that maybe you are not able now to conduct, to rehearse. But I said, no, we should play, because this is what Putin wants. He wants to cancel us. He wants to cancel our nation, our country. They are saying that there is no Ukrainian language, no Ukrainian culture, and this is my goal. This is my passion to be here, to represent that European connections between Ukraine, between Western Europe, but also with the whole world. And we started to rehearse, and I remember that moment then with the first sound of music, first seconds of music, it was like a prayer for me, like I was praying. And I really believed in my every concert, I believe that it cannot be like this, that yes, it is very terrible to know how many innocent victims now lost their lives, how many children are injured, how many families lost their homes. But we should believe in the humanismus, in ideals of humanismus. And I'm very thankful to Italy for great support to many Ukrainian refugees, to many Ukrainian projects, and especially I am also very thankful to Bologna and to my theater, because during this year, for example, we realized a lot of premieres of Ukrainian music, of Ukrainian composers, and it was also very great and touching, because many of them were sitting maybe in bomb shelter in Kiev and could not leave the country, could not cross the border, but we were playing the music which was born immediately in this terrible time, and it was like the voice of that artist which now were in the situation very dangerous to their life. And of course, for me, it was a big tragedy to think what will happen with the Youth Orchestra of Ukraine, because I was I am founder and chief conductor, artistic director of Youth Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine. And in the first weeks of war, we organized like music camp in Ljubljana with our partners, Slovenian Youth Orchestra. We tried to evacuate young musicians with their families, to bring in the safe condition, safe situation, and we also started to rehearse with them, to give them the music back, because it's very touching that for every musician to leave the possibility to study in their academies, to improve themselves, is really big tragedy for their life. And now many musicians are studying in different music academies around the whole West Europe, but usually in summer we are organizing like concert tours, and I'm very happy that for the first time this September, for example, we will play also in Italy. We will play in Brescia, because Brescia became the cultural capital of Italy this year, and we are looking forward to come to give our debut in Italy, because I think it's very, very important to work with young musicians, because it's always the sign for the future. Our young generation is the sign for the future, and I'm sure when we will learn about the arts, about culture, about humanistic values, we will not have the terrible wars in the future, and we should work about this. And I was very happy to participate in this special event by Bologna Airport, because it's really very important now to change the situation. And how I said, I am representing conductor profession. In our profession, the female part to the male part is 3% to 97. So it's really, we need to work for this to improve. It should become more, and I'm very happy to be a positive example for the young girls who is dreaming to study conducting. Also, I'm always working. I have a lot of assistants, for example, and it's also very important to me. And it was great to participate in this event, to speak about leadership, but also to speak about diversity, about equality, that we have to accept each other, we have to support each other, we have to always to think about this to improve our society. And I'm very thankful also for support from the part of airport to support the project of Youth Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine, because it's very great when I can see in the eyes of young musicians which are suffered now a lot. I can see a little bit the glance of hope. It's very great to make people happy and to make them believe that the world is thinking about them too. I wanted just to bring one example that a few months ago I met one of our player, a trumpet player. He is now studying in London in Royal Academy of Music, and we spoke how is his life now. And he said, what can I say? I could not never imagine I could study in such a great academy. I have different professors. I can play different instruments delivered by my academy. I have great master classes and great perspectives and concert. But I am coming from Severodonetsk, and my city doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. My college, my music college doesn't exist anymore. I lost everything, and I would change for tomorrow everything back just to have the peace in my country. And it's very moving to me, because I understand that everybody of these young musicians, they are among of us. And when you are, for example, in Italy, you are not feeling this, because of course you can enjoy sun, beautiful weather, restaurant, concert, cultural life. But everybody is like injured, has this wound in his soul, in his heart. And we are really looking forward to then the war will end, will stop. Hopefully Ukraine will win, Ukraine will have we will have our sovereignty, identity. And I will be so thankful, and I will be happy to invite everybody to our country.